Welcome back to another edition of the Gulf Coast Growth Show. My name is Chad Burke. I'm president and CEO of the BIC Alliance Houston Port Region. And today I've got with me a great friend of mine, old friend of mine, industry expert, if you will, Thomas Brinsko, the CEO of BIC Alliance. So Thomas, welcome. Glad to have you in.
Well, thanks for having me, Chad. It's a delight to be here.
Well, let's jump right into it. BIC Magazine, BIC Alliance, I guess is the overall company name. I describe it as the industry's leading information magazine go-to. I know there's electronics. I get your emails all the time. If you're not reading BIC Magazine, you don't know what's going on in the industry is the way I describe it to people. So we'll jump into that in a minute, but what a great organization and really, I think, vital organization and information kind of disseminator that you have here in BIC. Let's start with the backstory for Thomas Brinsko. Tell me a little bit about your career there, how you got there, and kind of how it's evolved over the years.
Yeah. Dumb luck and circumstance. I'd probably be the
Cheers to that.
You want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, right? So I was an attorney at Exxon to start my career.
So you're telling us you're smart.
Well, at least I'm good at test taking, But I started my career with Exxon and was working in their law department. And my father-in-law had started this magazine back in 1984. I'm graduating from law school in the early 90s. And married his only child, beautiful Dane. You know her well.
The lovely Dane.
And she, at the time that I was courting her, Earl, the founder of BIC Magazine, he was running this little print magazine, making less than $1 million revenue a year, probably not in the black, if the truth be told. And he was a struggling entrepreneur that just had a genuine winsomeness about him. And I loved hanging around him and his business. And I took time off at Exxon. I would use PTO days at Exxon, which they weren't very liberal with it back then. I only had 2 weeks PTO, but I'd go to the conferences with him, even though I was on the upstream side of the business. Yep. And so I would go to these downstream conferences with the name Exxon on my badge, and people were glad to talk to me.
Talk to Thomas,
even though I didn't know anything about what they were doing. And anyway, long story short, he had some health problems, and I came aboard his company to help him run it against the advice of universally of almost everybody in my family that I love and trusted. But I like to say there's a thin line between pride and confidence. And unfortunately, pride is a sin, confidence is an asset. I step over that line way too much that I've been so blessed, and I start giving myself credit instead of the people around me and the Lord. But I left my career at Exxon to go help him run his company, and try to grow it.
That had to be a scary step to step off into that. Young married man.
It was, and Earl had been bankrupt once before too. So his track record was not sterling, to say the least. But I had convinced my wife that, hey, give me 3 years. I knew how to work hard. And getting a job, I figured if it didn't work out, I just could get another job somewhere else. And I said, give me 3 years. If it's not working out in 2, we're going to have a 1-year exit out of this thing. And shoot, that was back
Fast forward how many years now?
Yeah, I started with the company in 98, back in the late 1900s. So I collected some gray hair and maybe some experiences since then.
Outstanding. Okay, so following on that, so what do you see the mission of the BIC Magazine?
Yeah, well, I love the mission that I inherited from Earl. With the magazine itself, our mission is to connect people in business and industry with one another for the betterment of all. And
as a person looking into the magazine and seeing how it affects the industry, I hear that mission and I see that mission in what y'all do. I love that.
Yeah, I love it too. And Earl preached networking and just helping our marketing partners by connecting them. And his idea was the magazine was going to connect the contractors and the equipment companies with the guys inside the plants and tank farms.
Yeah.
But if we could make a personal introduction, the that was worth all the advertising in the world. So we were big into creating networking events and just making direct introductions, and just networking is kind of in the DNA of our company. And when we expanded it into the recruiting and the M&A work, the recruiting is just connecting people also.
Just leveraging your connections
exactly.
and relationships that you've built. And then same thing for M&A, right?
Yeah, with the investment banking, we're connecting sellers with investors. So
just a further outgrowth of that kind of relationship building in the industry.
In the media, there's an old expression from the print days, is that the best friend you can have in business is somebody that buys ink by the barrel.
Yeah.
And the idea was that we were just so connected because we were the media. Yeah. We had this very small company, but with a big brand and a big reach, and it allowed us a lot of success.
It's interesting. Ink by the barrel. The quote that I had always heard was, never get in an argument with someone who buys ink by the barrel, because you're going to lose that argument. Anyway, that's the more politics on that side.
People would say, I'm not sure if BIC works, so let me run a full page ad saying you're not in business anymore and see.
Yes, if that works. So since 98 you said, right?
Yes, 1998.
So how have times changed over the years now with technology? I mean, I've even, talked with you over the years about print versus electronic, and just tell me the evolution that you've seen over the last, 20, almost 30 years now. 29 years.
For years and years, I would go to publishing conferences, and we seem to have the strongest publication out there. The oil and gas industry, particularly the downstream side and the midstream side, it was run by a lot of older folks who really like print. And so I think as opposed to a business-to-consumer magazine, our business-to-business magazine in this niche was able to ride the print train a lot longer. And our print is still profitable. It's just not carrying the load that it once carried. And I've got younger management, and of course, Jeremy, my partner, he's done just a fantastic job of, first of all, converting our ability to create content for our clients from print to digital, and creating that whole traffic on our website and the social media following. I always felt like our brand was going to convert to digital quite easily when we made the effort. And for us, COVID was really the event that changed the business for us.
Almost a catalyst to push you into that sector. Yeah,
exactly. So now, from a revenue basis, our company is, and probably from a readership, where if you add up all the different online channels versus our print, it's digital is probably going to surpass it this year or the next year, one way or another.
What is that reach, if you could put a number on it? So even if you added both,
if we add them together, it's roughly about 100,000 readers a month,
which staggers me, because I've heard you talk about that before. So
roughly
think about that, 100,000.
In our industry,
eyes on your, from your industry, eyes on your information every week. So that's fantastic.
Exactly. So we've just have a very loyal readership that's carried us a long way, and hats off to our subscription fulfillment team. They do a great job just scrubbing the data, and we're always looking for those owners that can really have some purchasing power to add them into our fold of readership. And it's been a good run. Been a great run. And I know we're going to run another 40 years with Jeremy and the guys running it.
Well, and it's been a good run, and will continue because of the value that you're providing to the industry as a whole, but then obviously all the customers as well. I know an email from BIC, doesn't come into my inbox without me scanning all of the different articles to make sure that I understand, okay, I'm going to read this one. I'll click on it and read through. And then the magazines are kind of prevalent everywhere. And of course, our footprint, you see the BIC magazine everywhere. So very good. All right. So let's use, I'm going to use you for a minute as an industry expert, someone with a finger on the pulse of what's happening. And you can split this maybe into two if you want to, but upstream oil and gas is obviously different than kind of our petrochemical manufacturing, the downstream side of the business. We're obviously in a down cycle right now in the chemical manufacturing side, especially with some of the recent announcements. But what do you see as far as where we are now, where we'll be, say, the end of 26 and then maybe into 27? How do you see this shaking out for us here domestically, if you will?
Yeah, boy, if I knew for sure, I would be making some short bets on that.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a challenging time. Being in the business since '98, I've seen a couple of cycles, and so I've always told my wife, don't spend what we make. Let's save some of it.
And we've been on a historic run for 15 years, right?
Yeah.
Since 2011, up until the last 2-3 years now, it's literally been historic investment and growth.
This feedstock advantage the United States has is just, lifted us head and shoulders and torso above everybody else.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't realistic that it was going to last forever.
Yeah.
We all wanted to, and we've just. I'm concerned that, and certainly the management teams that are running these chemical companies, they're all concerned about that we've overbuilt some capacity. I think a lot of the packaging plastics are going to do real well for the short term. Mm-hmm. Exxon, Lyondell, even Dow, who made a layoff announcement pretty recently, they have expanded in different areas. So we're seeing some expansions out there, but I think a lot of the greenfield stuff, it's going to be slowing down right now. But that's going to create opportunities for people who are in the maintenance business and the turnaround business, running elderly plants. We've still got major investments in all these facilities, and so there's going to be opportunities. They're perhaps going to be more narrow. Mm-hmm. We may see some winnowing out of some of the contractor base over the next 2 or 3 years as fewer contracts are let out. I'm hoping for better, but I think the realistic piece of it is that we marketing and sales is going to become even more and more important. Having the right people on your team.
Let me ask you this:
on the E&P side,
peek into touch on LNG, because that's one sector that we are still seeing large projects being built, and even still being proposed right now.
And I think perhaps it's because of the long-term nature of all these investments. We've got to set up construction of one of these facilities, you've got to get customers before you break ground.
Exactly.
Or you won't get the financing to build them.
We've seen that. Yeah.
So, we're letting out 20, 25, 30-year contracts, the LNG business is, for off-takes of their product before it's built. So I think most of the things that are in process right now will continue based on sunk costs and based on, if we're going to have ups and downs in the market, and it's going to take me 7 or 8 years to build something and maybe even another 4 years to get first production, I can wait out the cycles. And it's really a matter of more fundamental economics.
The long view.
On the E&P side, I was just saying, I saw an announcement recently that Chevron had record production this year, and Exxon also had record production. Price of gas price of oil, went up $1 yesterday. So at 64.5, it's at an area where people can make some money. I think that the integrated companies, whenever there's a downturn, it's always the integrated companies that come out better. The independents are going to have their problems, but if I've got an E&P division, I've got a pipeline division, and then I've got a refining division, I've got a chemical division. When one area is up, the other one's probably down, and vice versa.
Smooth out that curve.
It hedges again. It's a hedging. It's a hedging place. So they're going to come out okay on this.
Very good. Well, it is interesting times, but it's also still we still have those advantages with our feedstock here in North America. So it's
if it's going to get done anywhere, it'll get done here. So we're excited about that.
Very good. Well, always interested to hear that. So let's step back into kind of your career in BIC Magazine and a little bit more personal stuff. What's been the most valuable or satisfying part of your career?
It's a good question. I think the valuable part of my career is wisdom that I've taken from other people.
Always,
right. I can't invent the wheel myself, and the two most valuable pieces of advice I got starting a new career was one was that I should get involved in industry associations. Mm-hmm. And when I was in the E&P business, as a brand new, newly minted attorney working in E&P, I got involved in our local E&P association in New Orleans, and I know for a fact it helped my career. And when I moved to Houston 23 years ago, I learned about the BIC Alliance from your then chairman, Jim Griffin, was speaking at a conference, and went up and talked to him afterwards and learned about the BIC Alliance mission of building the local economy. Mm-hmm. And it resonated that it dovetailed with what I wanted to do, and I knew I wanted to get involved with it right away, and it's been a great thing. So the wisdom from other people, and certainly building a team. Mm-hmm. The most satisfying thing, I've got alumni who have worked for me that work all over our industry now. I've taught a lot of people a lot about networking and sales and running a business in general. Mm-hmm. And it gives me great joy to see those folks out in industry. Sometimes it hurts to lose employees. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time, if you've made a wise choice hiring somebody, you have to be happy for people when they find other opportunities that they think are better for them. Yeah. And when you see people in industry prospering, and they are so grateful for, and I'm grateful for my relationship with them. They're grateful for their relationship with me. And even if I look internally, not the people that left, but the people that are here, they've stayed with me 20 years, 10 years, 15 years. Even my new management team, anybody there, I won't run through all the names, but I love working with them. Mm-hmm. And it's trite. It's so trite. I almost hate to say it, but your people are your most important asset.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And
I couldn't agree more with you on the team and team building. Mm-hmm. It's employees can be the most rewarding or frustrating thing there is, but when you put a good team together and they're good and they're bought into your vision and the mission of what you're doing, there's just nothing more rewarding to see them deliver that, right?
Yeah. In my current firm, the publisher, I talk about retirement, and I intend to work part-time. Jeremy has certainly taken a lot of bricks out of my wheelbarrow and put them in his. Mm-hmm. And I've got other managers in my team who have taken on a lot of responsibility helping Jeremy run the company. And so I don't have to be there 65 hours a week anymore. I'm working half-time, only 30, 35 hours a week. And it's pretty sweet to just see them go. There's so many things that we're doing now, particularly on the digital side, that maybe I don't have the expertise. I like to say that, I know all the ingredients, but I'm not going to stand in the kitchen and make the gumbo because somebody else is better at that than me. Yeah. And, just watching them grow the business while still fulfilling our core mission of connecting people in business and industry, just gives me great satisfaction. And it gives it to my founder, Earl, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you've found another great connector in Jeremy, right? He's everywhere. He knows everyone. The partnership, and we'll get into this in a second, but the partnership and kind of the friendship and relationship that the Alliance has with BIC, and really that's the relationship that we have with you and Jeremy and the staff, is just second to none. And I know I can call either you or Jeremy at any point and say, hey, I need to know a company that does this XYZ. Mm-hmm. Who can you put me in contact with? And it's almost immediate at every turn.
Sure. So. And I'd hope that anybody in the Economic Alliance would reach out to myself or Jeremy if you need a connection.
Well, that brings me to my final kind of topic and question. tell us about that partnership between the Economic Alliance and BIC Alliance, if you will, over the years. I know you and I have done a lot of things together. How's that look from your point of view?
I couldn't be happier that I ran into Jim and you 24 years ago now. I remember just you guys hosting your first, one of your first, if not the first, procurement
breakfast,
over at Houston Hobby Hilton.
Yeah, wow.
And you had some just wonderful plant managers there on a panel talking to 20 or 30 people.
Yeah.
And my thought going through my brain was like, this is great content.
It's gold. We got to get it in front of everybody.
And I went and got those plant managers' business cards and asked them all to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing using the same speakers maybe 5 or 7 months later. And I remember calling you. I just joined the Economic Alliance. I was like, hey, I don't want to steal this event from you, but we need to partner on it because I think I can help you magnify your attendance. And I'm a marketing guy. Let me help you get attendees there. And I think it's just gone.
Yeah, the rest is history.
The rest is history.
I mean, for years, obviously working together on the content, but then you, for years, being our moderator and doing such a good job, and now you've turned that over to Jeremy as well, and he just does a fantastic job. Kind of really just a knowledgeable moderator is a great thing to have, right? And so we've kind of leaned into you and Jeremy over the years for that. It just brings so much more out of the conversation.
But it's not just the events. I mean, being part of the Economic Alliance has put me in touch with just all kinds of people from our industry, different contractors, different plant folks. I really feel like BIC has a seat at the table by being part of the Economic Alliance. And although we get something out of it, I'm so enamored with the mission of the Economic Alliance. I want to be part of growing this community, of creating jobs here, creating security for jobs here, creating a quality of life for the people on the Houston Ship Channel area.
Well, we do have a great mission, and we get to do it in a great industry with people that work well together. Especially for an industry that is and can be globally very competitive. The culture of our industry is, I think, different than a lot of other sectors in the economy because the people that work in our industry do work together. There is a sense of camaraderie in this industry that I've always enjoyed. I would be, and how that works back and forth with BIC and your mission is really kind of glove in hand. But I would be remiss if I didn't tell all of our listeners that don't know that Thomas was selected as one of our Industry Icon Award winners, which the award was created by our committee, our Gulf Coast Industry Forum committee, to honor people who have led in bringing people together, representing our industry, and improving our communities around the industry. And I think that you've probably caught that just in this conversation that we couldn't have drawn up a better recipient to honor than Thomas and what you've done at BIC Magazine. So congratulations again on that. But that's something that I was when that selection was made by the committee, I was extremely happy to see you be honored for that because, like I said, that's what we created the award for.
I'm very humbled and appreciate the recognition.
Absolutely. Well, I think that just about wraps it up for this session or this episode of the Gulf Coast Growth Show. For my good friend Thomas and I at the Economic Alliance, we want to say thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you.